Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to be painting a Mace Windu Delta 7 or Aethersprite. So it's in the grey colours with the yellows, a bit of the Republic pinky brown, etc, etc. So looking forward to getting this one done. So thank you for tuning in. If you've not been here before, then welcome. Remember, please head over and hit that follow button, and then you'll be notified whenever I go live when I'm doing my painting of any of these X-Wing ships. So if you like what you see, make sure you comment in the chat. That'd be great. And away we go. So first things first, we're going to start with the yellow. So on this Mace Windu ship, we've got yellow panels here and here. It's like a triangular section a little bit here as well. So good morning, Rich. Hope you're well, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Or should I say General Kenobi? So this is a paint scheme I've done a few times already. So sort of know my way around what I'm going to be doing, so it should end up being quite a quick one. So let's get started. So I've primed the model in Mechanicus Standard Grey. A lot of this model will be white, so this gives it a really good base coat, ready to work that grey up as well. So straight in with the so I'm using my Steel Legion Drab, which is a brown base paint, and that's going to get our base colour for the yellow that we're going to use. Girls, you need to turn that down even more, please, or go upstairs and get yourself sorted. So yeah, so this paint scheme is following the art from the card. And to be fair, this is definitely one of my favourite ships to paint. It definitely is a favourite. So we've got the boxes there, and then we've got like a small T-junction kind of effect on here. So we get on this a little rough, and then when we come to it we can tidy it up a little bit later on. And then we have a circle in here. So hopefully you can see that when I'm painting that. So a small circle there. And drop down a size brush down to a 0. And then we have a sort of a circular effect that goes around it too. Around there. Now there's a yellow, there's like a yellow flick up this side as well. So it's always good to get your reference material when you're doing any sort of projects like this where you're copying a paint scheme. Have it to hand, and then you can always just quick reference it as well. There's quite a few good references out there. The card actually for this model is very good, because literally it's flying past like that and shows you all the markings, which is pretty good. Oh, excuse me. So, right, so that's the yellow bits done straight away. So that's the base colour of the yellow. So I'm just going to let that dry first. I'm just going to black out the cockpit. So guys, this will be not a speed painting tutorial, but you know, I'm not going to be hanging around, put it that way. So next I like to black out the cockpit, so using a bit of Abaddon black, water it down a touch so it flows nicely into those corners. So what I usually like to do with these canopies is to do them of the colour of the lightsaber, so kind of like just a subtle purple highlight. For Mace, you know, Obi-Wan are doing a blue. Who knows for Anakin? God, he's had so many. So what's everyone up to today? Chilling at home, working from home? Oh, there's Andy too. Right apart. Whilst you build a website. Need to build me a website, mate. I need a website. I'll have to get in contact and get something sorted. Okay, next colour we need lead belcher. Gonna undercoat the astromech now. So again, a bit on the palette, bit of water. Feed that in there. So with these base coats, you just want to be neat. But if you do happen to catch a little bit of over paint on another area, you're going to correct it further down the line anyway. Okay, and then we'll change brush size, paint the engines at the back, and this little area just inside between the two parts of the fuselage. So what I like to do when I'm painting is I like to get all these base colours down first. Not only does it make it a little bit more interesting to paint, just kind of breaks up all those different colours you're about to put on it. And you're ready to go then, aren't you, for your highlights. So as you can see there, we just put that into the gaps at the back. Again, can be a little bit rough if we need to. Spirit Walker, hello there, mate. Welcome to today's stream. Okay, so that's in there. Okay, next colour. So again, moving on quickly. Next colour will be Rhinox Hide, because we're going to start working on the brown at the back of his ship. So this one kind of filters into the section at the back where the sort of these impressions are here on both sides, and then out a touch. So I'll get a bit of that onto my palette, a little bit of water to thin it down. And then it doesn't actually go all the way to the front of this panel. So there is like a small ridge here. So we'll paint it up to there, straight out, a bit further over. Then it needs to be sort of a rectangular shape rather than following the contours of the actual panel there. So let's get this on both sides. Yeah, I believe that one should. Okay, so we'll get the brown into those areas there. So good morning, everybody. There's quite a few in the room today. So obviously everyone wants to see how to paint an Aethersprite. Okay, and then next colour. That's all in the right place. So on the guns, I like to use a little bit of a metal colour. So we're going to put down a little bit of brass scorpion. Literally, this is just a dab on the top. So, dab on the top there. Okay, so that is literally all the base colours down already. Oh well. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to start highlighting the yellow. So back to the original colour. So we're going to have Steel Legion Drab and Uriel Yellow. They're the two colours I'm going to use. So start off with the drab and then just mix in and wet blend the white. The yellow, sorry, and then add a little bit of white towards that at the end as well. So again, let's get some on the palette. So I don't use a wet palette. I'm quite a traditionalist. I still have a tile. It's got many layers of paint on it at the minute. Kind of need to get a fresh one. But this has always been my way of painting, and I always enjoy it. So yeah, Steel Legion Drab on there. Mix in some yellow, so sort of a 60-40 mix. And then we want to start highlighting towards the front of the model. Just a bit more water in there just to get the flow right. And getting my brush strokes all the way to the front of that panel. Make sure it goes on smoothly. And move on to the other one. Okay, so we'll sort these yellow lines out here as well. What I also try and do is follow the natural lines on the fuselage if you can. That gives you sort of a nice reference point of where you want to put it. It's going in there. So, yeah, blocking in these colours and then getting them in the right places is key. Once you're happy with that, then you can obviously move on to highlighting. And then obviously we're doing all these other colours first, and then we'll paint the sort of the white highlighting around it. So there you go, that's the first bit of the yellow done. So I'm just going to mix in a little bit more yellow now into the mix. And the same again, just kind of start bringing that yellow to the front. water into there. Like I say, you always want to work with thin coats as well when you're painting. You know, you don't want to be doing anything too thick. You know, 2 thin coats is always better than 1 thick coat. So what's everyone been working on this week? Have anyone been doing any painting projects or anything like that? What are you working on at the minute, Rich? Are you working on anything? So welcome to the 8 of you that are watching at the moment. Leave a comment in the chat, say hello. See who we've got in. Okay, so I'm going to drop down to a brush size now on my 0 brush. Just add a bit more yellow in, and then I'm going to start adding a touch of white as I go now. Just sort of brightens that it's kind of a mustardy colour at the minute. So I'm not going for like a really bright yellow, it's going to be like a mustard colour by the time we finish with it. So again, like I've done in previous videos, you can see on the highlight there that it's highlighting towards the front of the model. So it started off with that brown towards the back. And you may think, oh, it's a bit bright at the minute, but once we get the white down, that'll affect the contrast between the grey colour as it is now. Yeah, so don't be shy, guys. Say hello. Okay, so that's that level of the yellow done. So I'm going to mix a bit more yellow in and a bit more white. And then these are going to start to become more of an edge highlight towards the front of the model. So we haven't got long to go now. Probably this highlight and then one more. Thank you. go. So yellow is definitely not one of my favourite colours to paint if I'm doing a lot of models. But I'm doing the odd single model here and there. I actually find it really therapeutic. It's quite a cool colour to paint. But getting consistency with yellow is so hard. And I don't use an airbrush, as I've said before, so it's one of them where, you know, if I'm doing it with a brush, it's a bit more difficult. Okay, so nearly happy with that. One more. So I'm just going to add a bit more pure white into there. And this is going to be the very sort of front highlights on it too. And then later on too, we had a little bit of a wash over the model too, so I'll darken it down a little bit more. So front edge and the side edge. Front edge there. Just try and even this circle out a touch. Yeah, happy with that. And then I'm just going to stick a little bit on the top edge at the back here. Okay, right, so that's the yellow done. So I'm going to move on to the sort of the browny red now. So this sort of pinky reddy brown colour of the Republic is quite an interesting one to mix. So my own personal mix is made up of the following 3 colours. We've got Rhinox Hide, Mephiston Red and Rakarth Flesh. So we kind of mix it in equal parts to start with. So a brush full of brown, brush full of the red, and a brush full of like the creamy, bony colour. Let's see if I can get this to work first mix. So I can show you that on my brush, if it'll zoom in on it. It's kind of a pinky colour. Definitely due for some new brushes at the minute actually. So I'm going to add a touch more brown in there, touch more red, just to get it the darker version of that tone, and then highlight it up in a moment. Okay, so straight in. And then with this we're going to highlight this towards the back of the model. So this is like the base, the secondary base colour for it. There's been a few people asking how I make this colour. So here you go, in the flesh. And to be fair, I've picked up my size 2 brush there, which is definitely too big. So into that mix then, I'm going to add a touch of red and now a touch of the Rakarth Flesh. Just makes it go a little bit pinky. Just get that towards the back. A little bit of water needed. That's just a touch thick, but we can still work with it. I'll say, you may think it looks a little bit rough, but when I do the white highlight, then we really sort of cut them edges in and make them edges really nice and sharp. So a little bit more Rakarth Flesh into the mix, And as I'm adding that Rakarth flesh, it just makes it that little bit more pinky. So let's get that towards the back of the model now. So start adding the edge highlight and blend to the back. Again, a bit more water on this side. Highlight down the back side. And there we go. And what we'll also do with this as well, in a later stage, is we stick a wash over that, and then that tones the colour down again. Okay, and then last little bit of Rakarth flesh, so that makes it really pinky. And then we drop down a brush size again into a size 0. Still a little bit of yellow paint in there from the last go. Okay, so a little bit more water. And then this is just going to be the edge highlight. Just down that edge. Edge highlight there, that's a bit heavy, wipe it off. It's better. Again, a little edge highlight on that edge. Okay, so you can kind of see how that's gone down, the internal highlight there as well. Oh yeah, yellow is God. It's got to be the bane of all painters. Like I say, if you're doing it with a really, really strict colour scheme, then it's all right. Combination, sorry, of colours, then it's all right. But I genuinely just don't like to paint it that often. It's painful, should we say? Okay, so that's the 3 main colours on there. So next, we're going to move on to the white element. So now we're going to go into a base colour of Celestra Grey, and then we're going to highlight it up with Ceramite White. As you can see, we've been painting half an hour and most of the basics of it have been done already. So paint to stay open, there we go. Okay, so I move back to my size 1 brush. Okay, so here then we're going to paint all these extra areas down into the grooves as well. So again, this is like a base colour. But when we get near to the colours we've already put on, we've just got to be careful that we don't go too close to that. I'll add a little bit of water into the mix. And then that just helps it flow down into the recesses a little easier as you put in this layer on. And depending on how much contrast you want, you can leave a little bit more room around them colours and sort of frame them with the dark grey background, or you can get nice and cosy. So like I said, with the bordering of some of these paints now, so this is where you can get a really sharp edge on these colours that are already on. again. You know, the flow of the paint is really important. If you can master getting that right, it makes painting so much easier. You know, if you're always putting paint on that's too thick, you're going to make mistakes and you're not going to be able to recover from them. But if you're putting a thinner layer of paint on there, then it's definitely better. But then there's a balance between how thin you go and getting the opacity right in the paint that you put on. So that's where practice makes perfect, as they say. So just going to stick an edge around that. Move towards the back of the model. Okay, so we're getting there. So it's a busy room today. Say hello, everybody. If you're in, what's everyone up to today? What projects have we got lined up? So currently for myself, we've got quite a few commissions coming in at the minute, so it's keeping it very busy. We've got a bit of 40k actually has come in. Going to be doing a full Farsight enclave for a Tau army, which I'm really looking forward to actually. Back in the day when I used to play a little bit of Tau, I always wanted to do it, but never really found the time to get it done. So when somebody contacted me and said, can you paint this? I was like, absolutely, let's do it. So that's literally just arrived in the post. Then we've got a list of X-Wing on the go as well. Repainting some silencers. We've got Y-Wings. We've got TIE Defender that I've just done. And then I've also taken some pre-orders for the new ships that are coming out as well. So we've got the LAC gunship lined up. We've got a Z shuttle lined up. So yeah, busy at the minute. I'm not going to complain, I'll be honest. I enjoy doing it. That's one of them. If you enjoy doing something, why not? But that's the first time I've taken any pre-orders, so I'm hoping the company I've ordered them from fulfills the order, which I'm sure they will. I've got a LAC gunship for myself lined up as well. Get that painted up in my own Republic scheme of the black and white. So really looking forward to that. And what else have we got lined up? We've got... trying to think. Oh, got loads of stuff coming for the giveaways as well. So we've got giveaway from the September patron that's coming up. So when somebody wins that, I'll be doing a custom paint job for whoever wins that. We've just done a giveaway from the Enigma code on YouTube. So I've got 3 ships I need to paint for that. This one is also a commission, but because it's quite a unique scheme, I wanted to get it on the stream and show people how to do it. So yeah, so I'm busy. You know, what about you guys? Let me know. Okay, so I can feel that starting just to come off the peg a little bit. Yeah, the Republic schemes, you can do so much with it. Like I say, you just got to settle on it and then commit to it. We've got some really exciting channel news coming up as well. We've agreed a partnership with somebody, with a local business. So you'll hear more about that in due course, probably end of next week. That's quite exciting. Give you guys a lot of unique opportunities when it comes to your X-Wing. So yeah, really quite excited about that actually. Okay, so you can see how this is coming together now. All them base colours down. You know, the yellow, like I said before about it contrasting against the dark grey, and it looks a bit odd, but once you get the grey down and the white, it really will start to make a really nice difference. So that's all the colours down. Let's just stick a bit more along that edge. But yeah, so going back to the diary, it is definitely a packed one. So if you're looking for a commission at any point, you know, please feel free to get in touch. You can get in touch through my Facebook, my Instagram, through Patreon as well if you want to directly get in contact through there. A few extra benefits on there. Rich, my preference, I'll be honest, it just depends. This is how I've painted mine in the past. You can do it the other way around, but I just like to get the colours into place so then I can cut it in and make it more sharp. You could paint it the other way around and have a white base coat and then do it over it. Either or is just as good. It's not a very big model, so it's not very time consuming when it comes to getting the paint down. If it was a much larger ship, then I'd do a lot of the base coating first. But I tend to try not to paint everything 2 or 3 times. You know, that section got painted yellow, that section got painted white. Very similar to the way I painted the Y-wing as well. So I sprayed that grey, painted all the blue, painted all the white. So at no point was it another colour, then painted another colour again. I find that just wastes a little bit of time personally, the way I paint anyway. So, okie doke, right, so let's get, so that coverage of that undercoat is okay. I've just spotted a little bit that I've missed. So between coats, it's always good to just have a quick inspect of the model and just make sure you're happy with all your paint placement. Just make sure you're ready for your next layer of paint. Because sometimes the colour that's underneath is really important for how it's going to finish. Okay, so let's get some more grey on the palette and let's get some white. So I've gone for probably a 60-40 mix of the Celestra and the white. So now, so we treat each panel independently and just paint them and draw that paint towards the front of the model, leaving a bit of shade at the back. and not painting the recesses either. Yeah, so each panel's its own unique piece at the minute. And what that does then, it just keeps a little bit of a contrast between the colour you put in the recesses, and then later on we'll stick a little black wash over it all, and then that sits right in the recesses. It just makes all of this work that you're about to do now really jump out. Again, just got to be tidy with it. That's where using a good brush really comes in handy, and having good brush control. So literally just painting all the panels with the white, well, with the grey mix. It's still a far way from white at the moment. So like I said a second ago, treat all these individual panels as their own. And you want to sort of highlight, drawing that paint towards the front. And there's also some black lining that needs to be done on here as well afterwards. There's like a black edge that goes down here from the end of the gun recess down to the wing. There's a little bit on the inside of this as well, but because it's a really dark colour, we do that right at the end. Get these. You get all these panels locked down with a nice smooth coat. That's where the cleanness comes from the paint scheme. Keep the contrasts working, keep those recesses showing the detail. If you overpower the detail on these models, then it's a little bit disappointing, really, because they're so finely detailed anyway. You really want to paint it in a way that shows it all off, and when it's on the table, it looks fantastic. So 45 minutes in, and we're doing a good job here. It's coming together nicely. So with that section there, try not to highlight all the way up to the fin, because now when you paint the fin, just want to create a little bit of a recess line, and again that just shows a little bit of contrast between those two panels where they meet. So same on this side as well. So don't go all the way to it. So give a massive shout out to all the patrons that have supported the channel already. So I've been going probably just over a week, and we've got a nice round figure of 10 patrons so far, which is fantastic for the channel, and fantastic for them because they get lots of nice benefits too. So if you'd like to support the channel and head over to Patreon and become one of my patrons, it's much appreciated and will help the channel grow. And then you also get entered into a prize draw as well every month, so lots of other benefits, discounts on commission painting, free gifts on your birthday as well if you go for the VIP tier. You know, it's packed with cool stuff. You know, if I was going to support someone, that's the sort of stuff I would want, so that's why I've developed it. And like I say, each month with the giveaway, like I see the top right corner of the screen now, it's you know, the more patrons we have, the bigger the giveaway, so it's win-win. And then we can increase the production quality, better cameras, better lighting, etc, etc. So it's all good. And there's also plans in the pipeline to run a competition as well. So definitely get preferential rates and stuff like that for being a patron too. So it's all good. It's all good. Okie doke. So right, there is. Oh, missed a bit. See, there you go. Prime example of when you think you're finished, check you're finished. So that's done. Painted that side. Painted that side. So what I've still got to do is I've got to put a bit of brown on the back of these panels. But I'll do that once I finish the white. Okay, so let's add a little bit more white into that mix. And this is where you'll start to see the highlights really start to jump out at us now. So now we're probably 60-40 in terms of white. So get this mix on. Again, highlight right to the front of these panels. Treating each panel as its sort of own independent panel. This can be quite a rough highlight at the minute, getting towards the front of each of those panels. Keeping that steady hand going. Keep sort of them prominent edges well highlighted. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the painting and watching me paint this model. What do you think so far? Let me know in the comments. Is this a scheme that you might try yourself? And just keep your paint in a smooth, watered down condition, and you can get the paint to flow onto the model really well. Just going to try my bit. Okay, coming together nicely. Just double check I've done each bit. Still need a bit up on this top area here, around the canopy. So I'll probably just have to edge in the canopy again towards the end when I've finished, just to make sure it's nice and crisp. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so again, let's mix in some more white. And then we're going to put this white onto the model right at the front of those panels. And then the next layer will be then sort of edge highlighting to then make it pop even more. So white's a notoriously difficult paint to work with, but if you keep your paint flowing correctly, then really there shouldn't be any major difference. And the hardest thing is sort of managing your expectation with it. You know, sometimes it might look a bit too grey, or it might look too clumpy because you went a bit too thick. You know, just manage how you want it to look before you start. Do you want it to look grey? You know, do you want it to look blue? You know, do you want it to have an odd colour to it that makes it more unique to you? I always prefer my white to be quite grey and a cool sort of white. And then it's the edge highlighting that then makes it pop. And then I know people that like really, really nice, crisp white that is virtually out of a can. So I made a little mistake there. Clean my brush, wipe that paint out of that recess, reload the brush. Okay, so it's coming together. So now with this white panel here, I'm going to start highlighting towards the top. Keep my paint quite thin. Let's say the size of these models, they are pretty small. You can see how we're getting on there. It is a tiny model. Got to be really careful with your brush strokes, get them in the right places. But again, never rush. You know, go at a pace that you're happy with. And like I've said in the past, I'm notoriously known for being quite a quick painter. You know, you may see these videos and they're maybe like an hour and a half, but you know, for one model to this sort of detail, it's pretty quick. Well, at least that's what I taught myself anyway. Okay, so quite happy with those layers. I'm just going to stick a little bit more of the same colour, so double layer the front here, so all the way to the front of these panels. Again, that just thickens up the actual colour that we've put on, so you can see the blend towards the front there. Just bear with me a second. Right, great stuff. So we're at now at the point where I'm going to do the fine highlighting on the white. So I'm going to mix in some more white as well. Again, and this is probably going to make a sort of an 80-20 mix, I would suggest, in favour of the white. So, and this will be the final highlight layer for this white. So I've got my size 0 brush, then I'm going to highlight some lines to reflect what we've already done on the yellow, so that way we've got sort of a consistent highlighting style. So we're going to do so front edges and side edges. like both sides of the recess for the cannons. Yeah. Yeah, make me one too. That's alright, I'll have that, I'll drink it. Okay, so we're working on these panels, we'll get lines. Okay, so let's keep going these white lines. So give one of the followers a big shout out now. So a big shout out to Mindits, who's commissioned this project. So thank you to him. If you're re-watching this, or if you're in the chat, I'm not sure you're in the chat. You would have said hello. So thank you, pal. I hope you're enjoying watching this one being painted. You have to wait. Guess you have to wait. Let's say if you commission a project with me and it's one I put on stream, I will give you a shout out if you want me to. Ah, he is there. There you go. Lurking in the background. Yes. Oh, I'll move the kettle over there. So what do you think so far, Mindits? Looking good? That's alright, no problem, mate. No problem. Perfect. Perfect. Well, that's what we like to see. That's what we aim for. It's amazing how many tiny little edges there are on these things. Let's get these last little edges highlighted, and we're nearly there, to be fair. It's not far off being finished. There you go, guys. So how's that looking so far? So yeah, coming together really, really nicely. The colours are getting sharper as well, which is good. So just need to do a little bit on this back section. Thieves. Yeah, turn it off. So, like I say, we've not got long left. A few little edges to highlight now, so we're nearly finished. It's up to you. Thanks, pal. So, any preference for engine colour while I've got you? Usually I do it like a yellow. I quite like the idea of having purple engines, actually. You know, for the man himself. Okay, so let's get so that's the white done for now. What we need to do now is there's a couple of black edging to do. So there's a section that goes down the edge of his wings. So I'll just check my reference piece. So yeah, so from the front of the gun channel to the back of here. So this part here. So front of the gun channel. All the way down to that part there. So let's block that in. I don't know, you tell me. It's warm. Let's get that blocked in. So get that blocked in on there. Just need to be a little bit thicker on the top line. In there, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So again, all the way to the edge of the gun channel. Oh, sorry, the laser channel. Fill that in. Okay. Just a touch more near the front there. So purple would be awesome, wicked. Right, we'll do purple engines. Sounds like a plan. And then we've got a black line that goes from kind of an extension of the little yellow circle here. So it goes here, and it goes up and meets the yellow there. Same on this side. So it goes up to there. Like I say, there is a lot of details on these Aethersprites, but they're such a fantastic model to paint. They really, really are. I've literally painted a paint scheme for every single character so far. That were released in the Aethersprite box anyway, so I've done a paint job for all of them. When I did the first original batch, I did them all with matching dial covers as well. And then one of my friends in Norway was like, I want them. So I was like, alright, I'll do some more one day. And never have. So I think will be a good time when the new the ETA 2 Aethersprite comes out. I'm going to make sure I do all of those as well in the right colour schemes. Okay, so that's pretty much it so far. I'm just going to spot in the purple for the engine. So for that I'm going to put a base layer in of, if you can see it, it's quite shiny. It's called Sirius Purple. If you can see that on the stream, it's a lovely purple colour. So it's one of them colours where I add a little bit of white into it and it'll just start looking pretty much like his lightsaber colour. So literally I just put a bit pure on the end of the brush, I don't put it on my palette, and just dip it into the back of the engine, rotate it round, and it just fills the hole nicely. So straight out the pot, straight in, rotate it round, and that fills that perfectly. And then what we'll do in a minute, because I've still got to highlight the silver on the engines, but there is a wash element coming to the paint scheme now. So what I do now is I do a very, very, very thin, like a null oil wash. So this is super, super thin. But I put that over all the crevices of the model. And then that just sits down right into all the nooks and crannies. So, are you ready? So literally straight into the nooks and crannies. Just give it a little wipe on the top. I'm not convinced that's a good enough mix, so I'm going to mix it again. That looks better. Nope, not happy with that one either. So sometimes when I'm mixing my paints, it doesn't go to plan. So it might be that's quite a big undercoating brush that I use. So let's try again. Oh, that's much better. Okay, right, let's try that again. So you can see straight away how it just sits in the recesses. You can put this over the yellow as well. It just darkens everything down. Just adds a very, very fraction of contrast onto the model. And this is kind of one of the little tricks I've got that makes everything look so tidy, is that all the little edges all stand out, all look super clean. Gives it a little bit of a shine as well, so if we can pick that up on the camera. But then when it dries, it dulls itself down. But yeah, still on there, around the astrobek as well. And then what we need to do as well, we need to do these little gun channels, but I'm going to use a little bit of a darker mix for that. So yeah, it's that thin that it doesn't mask any of the colour, it just sits fractionally down into those grooves and just makes it look great, in my opinion. You know, I'm a very visual person, so you know, the technicalities of painting with me go right out the window. I am not a technical painter. I just paint it, and if it looks good, it looks good. Because ultimately, that's what you're judging it on. You're not judging it on the technical merits. You know, you look at it and go, "Yep, like that." It's very rare someone goes, "Oh, did you use this technique and that technique?" But like, no, just painted it, mate, in true Mancunian fashion. But obviously, you know, there is some skill to it, don't get me wrong, you know, that I've learned over the years, but maybe I just do it a bit too automatically sometimes. Right, let's get some on this back section as well. Around the engines, just dull them down. Get that in there, and we'll get ready to paint the rest of the engines there. Okay, so there you go. That's what that wash has just done to it. So we need a little bit of a highlight. Yeah, so we need a little bit of a highlight onto the purple. Same with the Astromech as well, which we'll just need a little bit of silver for. So I'm going to just darken down this gun channel and a little bit more black into this mix I just had to wash the whole model with. Just going to drop that down into this channel here, just darken that off a little bit more. And it didn't take it, so it means it's not dark enough. I think what I might do is just paint it in with the black. There you go, that was better. A bit darker in there. So Astromech, I always leave them quite plain. Mindits, if you're listening again, is there any specific Astromech you'd like on this ship? Because I can do a little bit of painting for it and just block in a little bit of colour. You know, do you want an R4 Astromech? Do you want an R2 Astromech? Let me know. So a little bit there, a little bit around the side. Cheeky little highlight on the top. Yeah, that's it for there. Bit on the engine. Bit on the engine. Okay. So that's that done. In fact, let's get a little bit more on the top actually. So we'll leave it plain for now and see if Mindits likes the result. So we'll move back onto the engines then. So we've got our Xerius purple. Again, I use all Citadel paints, so if there's anything that I'm calling out, it will be a Citadel paint. And then I'm adding in a little bit of ceramite white. And that's turned it into a very lilac colour. So let's get that in there. And then what I do with these, I'll gloss varnish the engines when we're done as well. Okay, so just a simple highlight in there. And then add a bit more white, and this will make it into a really sort of light purple. And then I edge that near the bottom. You can see how that's come out. It just adds a bit of glow. I know it's a bit glary, but that'll look great when the varnish is on. So next is we just tidy up the canopy. So we get our Abaddon black out again. Quality check around. So there's a bit of a smudge there at the top. That comes down. Then you can see right here at the bottom, canopy. So I push my bristles into the front of it. Get that bit right as well. Yeah, and I try and, if I'm doing really fine edges, I kind of push the bristles into the corners. That way you're not going to smudge them. So the R2 Astromech. So I believe the R2 is red, am I right? Let's find out. So straight onto Google. Oh, it can be red or yellow by the look of it. In fact, the R2s are a lot of different colours. So, Mindits, what colour would you like? So you've got red, yellow, obviously blue's R2D2, but we'll stay away from that one. I think if I was going to do one myself, I'd probably do a bright red one. But you let me know. I'm just going to finish off the back of the model with a little bit of brown, like we said before, just on this back edge here. Cuts that back in. Bit wet there still, but it's okay. Silver and black, perfect. So I will get my 00 brush, get my Abaddon black. So I always start with a nice spot on the top. Sort of feather in that top section. That's where the colour is. Then we'll build it around the top. Hopefully you can see me doing this. And then we have the blocks of colours around the side. So no magnifying glasses or anything like that. Just get close enough to the model that you can see what you're doing. And as always, have a good brush. That's what it's all about. Flip it round. Boom, 00 Artis Opus. You can't beat them. Good brush is what it's all about. Okay, so if you can see that, Mindits, try and get that in. There you go, black and silver, and then I'm just going to drop a silver spot onto the front panel for his lens. Wow, there you go. Nope, the bases, Andy, are just, they're like a movement template. So it just, this is the actual game template. So when you're flying the ships, you have certain shaped maneuvers. So you slide your template in and then you move it to the other end, and then it can do like barrel roll moves or boosting, or they can do full moves where they spin around. Yeah, so this is like its own little movement template. So really, there's two ways of doing it. You can have a black one, which is, I paint all of mine black. This is just the one for painting. Or they do come as a clear option. So the first one I've got to hand is actually one of the big ship bases. So you get bigger ships in the game as well, like Millennium Falcon, the Ghost. But they come with a clear plastic base like that. And then basically I just spray all mine up, and I prefer it black on the table. It just looks better. And there's like a little tile that goes on here as well, which gives you a little bit of information about the ship, and it has like a firing arc on the front. So it's a wicked game, mate. If you're ever free and fancy playing any board games, give me a shout and we'll get together and show you what it's all about. It's really, really good. And it's quick as well. You play a game in about just over an hour. Well, it's an hour and 15 minutes if you're playing like a tournament length game. So you have a few ships, 3 or 4 ships, and they fly around. It's a fantastic game. It's got all the benefits of the modern man's game. You want it to be quick, low cost, maybe. You know, you want to play the games quickly, ready to go out the box. It's great. Yeah. Oh, Blood Bowl. Yeah. Still into that a little bit actually. Got a team that I play with. But yeah, all them quicker games, the Necromunders, the Blood Bowls, all the specialist games, low model count, quick times. Yeah. And this game actually is perfect, and it's Star Wars, so it can't really go wrong, can it? So right, nearly done. Let's add a reflection spot on the canopy. So straight out the pot. And I always put it just on the top. So easy as that. And then, looking at the model now, I'm just going to do a little bit of inspection on the models to see if there's anything I've missed or I need to cover up. So straight away there, I've noticed there's a little smudge. So I need to backfill that. So get my grey and white back out. Just tidy that up. Because I've done that on that side, I'm going to do it on this side as well. To be fair, that's done it on that side as well, so I obviously did something before, didn't correct it. Okay, so that's done on that side. And I feel like I just want to put a couple of pure white highlights on the model at the front. Like I say, it looks great, but I feel like there's just something missing, so let's get a couple of highlights towards the front. Just make the front of the model pop a little bit. And one thing with my painting as well is I don't leave it until I'm happy with it. When I'm happy with it, then we go from there. Also, looks like I've missed an entire panel there. So get that one highlighted in there. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, I am happy with that. So let me know what you think. So the only bit I need to do now is varnish the canopy, and then matte varnish the rest of the model. Bit of gloss varnish in the engine ports at the back as well. So yeah, so about an hour and a half's worth of paint in there. Like I say, I've done the paint scheme before, so obviously I know where everything's going. It saves a little bit of time. Oh, one last bit, sorry. Just need the gold touch on the top of the gun. So I use a shining gold. It is called Liberator Gold. And just put a little touch of that just on top of the gun. And now I'm happy. There you go. So guys, yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for tuning in. You know, that's how you paint a Mace Windu Delta 7 Aethersprite. So remember guys, if you haven't already, head over to my social media platforms. I'm over on Facebook, I'm over on Instagram, I'm on here obviously on Twitch. Make sure you give me a follow. Also, we are now on Patreon. I know I said a little bit about it before, but all the support that we get on the channel is fantastic and helps put towards improving the stream, giving more content, and you know, long term potentially getting me to a place where I might be able to do this a bit more often, which would be fantastic. So yeah, so head over to them places, say hi, get involved in the Enigma community. Remember to follow and share if you can. And there you go. So this stream will get uploaded to YouTube. And then if you want to go back and watch it over and maybe recreate this paint scheme, feel free. So thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always. Thanks Rich, thanks Mindits, Andy, thanks for tuning in, pal, and everybody else that's in the chat. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you all in the next one. So take care and see you soon.